Salutations from the Sixth Side. This is Six Stream Comics, and I'm here with Ludoslava, talking about talking about comics actually, and talking about one of her projects that is Mary Boys, and this is a comic from the UK, and it's in the sort of the spirit of 2000 AD, and the art is just amazing, and I'm not Ludoslava, tell us about Mary Boys.
Mary Boys is an amazing comic. My husband, Carl Stefan, he's the artist and the writer. Um, we have already released 2 issues, and we have a campaign on Indiegogo promoting the newest one, which he's working on right now. However, if you back the old comics, we ship them immediately, so you get your hands um, on the first 2 issues within 2 weeks' time, and then you can make up your mind whether you want the third issue or not. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it.
I have to say Mary Boys because I was a backer of issue number one, and I was so stoked by this comic. I
Thank you.
kind of talked to your husband about his art process, and we sort of have common artists that we appreciate, like Mike McMahon and Cam Kennedy of 2000 AD fame. And I asked him, like, dude, your art, your stuff is so good. Why don't you work for 2000 AD? And sort of the response is, well, mainstream comics right now, yeah, it's kind of weak, And he said indie is where it's at, and I really do believe that indie is where it's at. What are your thoughts about that, Ludoslav? And let me interrupt for one moment. Matt Six Bar entered the stream as well. Matt, can you hear me?
Hi.
I don't think Matt can hear us.
Oh well. Maybe in time.
Yeah, maybe in time. But
Yeah.
anyway, what are your
Well,
thoughts about that? Independent comics.
yeah. So basically, Carl's first comic ever, which was Sparker, was published with a small publisher, but like kind of really kind of renowned at the time in the underground comics environment, and that didn't really work well because what we didn't realize at the time was that um, there was this really what we call now woke editor working for them, and that lady didn't quite like the female character, the main female character. And
Okay.
yeah, so she was like, that female character is a little bit bitchy. And then Carl asked me, like, do you think she's bitchy? I was like, no, she isn't. But like, okay, we were like, okay, she's an editor. She knows what she's talking about, yeah. So he kind of like changed the storyline a bit to make the female character a little bit likable. And then we were very naive at the time, and only later we found out like who that editor was, what she was all about, and why she had interfered with the storyline and the character and all that. So basically, um, because that editor who then left that publishing house, and the publishing house went.
Which publishing house was this? I'm kind of curious now.
Um, I'm not sure if I should say that.
Oh, come on, do it. This is independent comics, baby.
Yeah, well, slave labor.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, I forget the female editor's name anyway, so you might have
Doesn't
got.
matter.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. It's somewhere, in my
It
mind.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This whole
Yeah,
woke concept, it's just
that's the thing. So at the time we were so naive, we hadn't realized what had been going on, and so he changed the story, and then the comic was published in a format and quality completely not what we had imagined, and that was really disappointing. There was no promotion or nothing, like not advertising. Um, we got maybe like 2 copies, and that was it. That was it.
Oh,
Like,
really? Yeah.
yeah,
It sounds like my swarm with John Del Arrows. You know what I mean?
yeah,
No
yeah,
promotion. Didn't even
nothing.
send me a comic. Oh my god.
Mhm. Yeah, we got two
What?
copies, one of which
Hey,
we have,
hold,
and
hold on, Lou. Stop it. Matt Six Bark. Can I hear you in the background? Is
Can
that
you
you?
hear
Or...
me? Am I
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
talking?
I can hear you.
All right,
Okay.
right, right. Hey, much obliged, man. Much obliged you joining
Yes,
us.
sir.
Okay, so I'm talking to Ludoslava about independent
Hi.
comics and about, in specific right now, her comic Mary Boys, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
You've heard about Mary Boys, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fucking on.
Yeah, it's fucking dope.
Okay,
Thanks.
cool.
Fuck off.
Really cool. You joined the stream, man. I really appreciate that.
You bet,
All
man.
right.
You bet.
So, Ludoslava, tell us what happened next with the editor or the.
Well, like she left, but the damage had been done. The sort of what they produced was really disappointing. There was no promotion whatsoever, and that was like 12 years ago,
Okay.
13 now, really, and basically until 2020, um, that had put Carl off uh, publishing with any independent publisher for that many years. Like we're talking now, what, at least a decade.
So,
And
what changed? What made him decide to go this route? Like what you are
the,
doing right now?
yeah, that's
It's
the
pretty
thing. So,
successful.
yeah. So in the meantime, the kind of environment changed completely because back in 2012, like self-publishing was only kind of like happening, and we looked into it, but it wasn't really the thing we wanted because we had no control over the quality of the output. So
You
basically, you
mean like quality as in printing, the printing
printing, yeah.
quality?
So you could self-publish on Amazon, but they kind of,
No, Amazon fucking sucks, man. Don't ever
yes,
publish on Amazon because they'll steal your fucking IP. You know what I mean? Don't
yes,
do it.
What?
yeah. We don't
Really?
support Amazon at all.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
listening.
for sure, man. I've been battling Amazon for about a year now. I had sort of an agreement with John Doe Arrows to uh, publish and print my comics, but I didn't have an agreement with Amazon, and they took over my IP. The Napalm brothers, you've heard about it,
Yeah.
and now third parties are selling my books, and I don't get any royalties from them. And I'm sort of in a legal conundrum with Amazon. And of course, they have better lawyers than me and a lot more moolah. But yeah, it's a clusterfuck. You know what I mean? Once
Yeah,
you
it is, dude.
enter sort of a conundrum with Amazon, yeah, what can you do? What can
Mm,
you do as a little small time creator? Can't do anything. It's he said, you said, he said, or something. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Anyway, sorry to
go ahead.
interrupt you, Ludoslava.
no worries. So basically, yeah, self-publishing wasn't really the thing for us, and then a few years later, crowdfunding emerged, and it kind of blossomed. And then,
It blossomed because of Even Van Skyver, and I hate to admit it,
absolutely,
but this is true. This is a fact.
it is true. It is true, and also, Carl was extremely lucky because Mary Boyce caught Evan's eye, and he mentioned it a few times.
Nice.
So,
That always
and
helps.
truly, like the first campaign was only successful because of him. That's the truth.
I have to say though, Mary Boys, and I'm not sticking feathers up anybody's ass, but it really is a good comic. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it looks really
Well,
cool.
my point is,
thank you.
talent will always rise to the top, and
It's
if it
great to hear.
the whole
However,
process is
it's
done
been for
professionally,
Yeah, if it hadn't been for Ethan mentioning it several times and then inviting Carl to talk about it on his stream, on like, before the first campaign, which is like nowadays you can't really get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because of the
I'm sort
first
of
campaign.
chuckling because Ethan
Yeah.
mentioned my campaign as well, and he said, "Who is this motherfucker? And his books are lame."
Mhm.
So we were extremely lucky. So it caught his eye, and also, yeah, Carl was invited to chat about it on his stream. And that really kind of like that was the wind in the sails of the
Wind in
campaign.
the wings, wind in the wings,
Yes.
baby.
You are the
Okay. Whatever.
wind
Yeah,
in
like
the-
English isn't my first language. I'm sure you can hear that by my like accent and stuff.
Hey,
Anyway.
let me talk to Matt for a little bit, man. Here, yo, Matt Six Bar.
What's going on, dog?
Hey, why did you steal my six, Nick, man? What the hell?
Dude, I was born with it. It's not my fucking fault. You gotta talk to my parents.
No, you explain it to me, man. I'm really
Yeah.
sorry. We kind of started off on a bad foot. You know what I mean? I was a little hostile, as I am. I am
Yeah.
combative. But then we sort of had a back and forth about it, and you did this awesome artwork about the comeback snail, and I kind of sort of felt you out about what you're doing in comics, and I think you're doing the right thing, brother.
Thanks.
You're doing the right thing, and I'm really
Thank you.
pleased that I'm not pissed off at you anymore.
I appreciate it, man. I had heard about Napalm Brothers. Was like, yeah, that stuff sounds cool. And then it like got back to me that you were fucking pissed off at me, and like you were like, yeah, man, this guy thinks you fucking ripped his IP
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
He thinks you
I
fucking
had this
ripped
whole I had this
six
whole
off.
sc- conspiracy
I hear you,
conspiracy
dude. Yeah, like,
constructed in my head. You know what I mean? It's like fucking
dude,
this fucking
it's
dude's
it's all
Matt.
about
His
reaching
his, his
out,
name
man.
is Matt Six Bar, and he's
Yeah,
doing Vietnam stuff, and I'm sure he's fucking with me. He's fucking with me, and
yeah,
that's what I was
dude.
thinking.
Yeah, I would never ask. Like, I don't fuck with people like that. Like, I don't do like parodies. Like, I don't fuck with like other people like that, other than like when I drew Liam blowing JD8. But that's
Hey, but that sort of backfired, because JD8 has said you were ungodly or something. Can we talk about that for a little bit? That
dude.
was
He
so
said,
funny, man.
dude, he was like, he was on EVS's show, and he was like, yeah, I don't care if people want to parody me. I'm okay with that. And so I like spent maybe 5 minutes, like just doodling some really rough shapes.
The piece
And
was awesome, by the way. I
right,
saw it come
thanks.
by on Twitter. It was really cool.
Thanks. And so I like he was like, yo, man, like fucking parody me. And so I posted that, and he just fucking had a meltdown, dude, and called me. He's
Oh my
he
god!
called me he called me he called me anti comic skate.
Of course. That's the first. That's the first tactic. If you
Yeah.
disagree with someone, call them anti-CG. When you're
Yeah,
in,
I was like, what are you talking about? Like
listen, man.
I'm literally
Interrupt you.
doing
This
logos
is
for
kind of
people.
important because all the people who've been called anti-CG, there would have been a force to be reckoned with if we can all incorporate them into CG.
Yeah.
But we have these wacko players that just want to brand people sort of to bump themselves up, like
Yeah.
John Del Arroz.
So
You know what
he
I mean?
he like tweeted, he was like, you're fucking anti comic skate, you're anti Christian,
Yeah.
you're immoral. And then in a
And
DM,
listen,
I
dude,
was like,
I have to say,
the DM
Matt,
like with
Matt
you.
Six Bar, sorry to interrupt
Sure.
you again,
Yeah.
but your art is like 12 steps beyond whatever I'm doing, but it's also 12 steps
Stop.
beyond John's writing. You know what I mean? And that's the sort of the key to the matter. They see talent, so they have to discredit you. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not the writer
No,
on
no, but
Rock and Roll
like
Ninja, but
in
yeah,
comparison to creativity and skills, your art is so much better than John's writing, and
I appreciate
yeah,
that.
he has to take you down a notch. And of course, my art is only slightly better than John's writing, but he has to take me down a notch. And that's
He
just kind
likes
of how it
that,
goes.
dude.
You know what I
It's
mean?
yeah. I don't know if he's like a single child or what. I don't want to, but it's almost like,
No, no,
are
no,
you
no,
a
no, no, no,
single
no, no.
kid, dude? Like,
I know,
what's your
no, no.
fucking like? Why are you
He's a
acting like this,
pre-ejaculate
man?
child. Like a pre-ejaculate.
You fucking test tube.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what are you fucking doing, you test tube baby? Like, what
Oh
the
my
fuck is
god,
wrong
what an
with you,
awesome
dude?
stream.
And it was like, man, I was like, I felt really bad at first. So I was like, man, what the fuck? And I like DM'd him, and I was like, dude, I'm like, you just like contact me, and
Dude.
I would have
I
dropped
see
it.
Ludoslava
He
looking sort of
fucking
confused. I have to tell her, listen, we are all CG. We are all
yeah, yeah,
CG.
yeah.
We
I love
don't
CG.
adhere. We don't adhere to the mainstream bullshit. And we just kind of want to do our own thing.
Yeah,
And we're not specifically left wing, and we're not specifically uh, extremely right wing. But yeah, we're somewhere in the fucking middle, or somewhere leaning this way or that way, and we just want to do our comics. And
I think we have like some general like rules of like no lolicon shit.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? And like other than that, like
No, but
I've
the
seen
point is,
black creators, I've seen
dude,
all different shades of
Matt. I
colors.
know this.
Fucking A,
Man. I
man.
know this.
It's like,
There's fucking hey roach balls. Roach.
dude, I love roast.
If roach balls can do what they're doing, then CG is not fucking racist. And who
No.
says I'm not a black man? Nobody's ever seen my face. Just because I have a South African accent doesn't mean I'm a white boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be I just went to the right schools. Nobody knows. Nobody
Nobody
knows anything about me,
knows.
man.
Good for you.
You sound like a white guy though.
So yeah, so he like blocked me and shit, right? And then I got an email from Mayors, and he was like, "Yeah, man, fucking erase that shit and don't fucking don't get
Yeah.
involved with that kind
Hey,
of stuff."
listen, man. I'm
And I was
sorry.
like, fuck, like that. You know what I mean? It was like a call from command. You know what I mean? It was
We
like the
kind of
general
rolled
just
into
fucking
this
called out. I was like,
subject.
oh
I
fuck.
didn't really want to talk to you about this, but we kind of rolled into it. What I want to talk to you about is Rock and Roll Ninjas, man.
You
Because
do?
what a great
But
goddamn
I
concept
like
that
Mary
is.
Boys. That shit is fucking dope. I
No,
like
no,
the drawing.
listen. This
Okay.
is important. Mary Boys is cool, but for somebody with your skill set and with your alliances to do a Vietnam War comic, I think that's just amazing. And of course, I sort of, like I said, blew my lid before we actually started talking. But I think it's really, really, really cool that you're doing this, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, tell us about Rock and Roll Ninjas, brother.
Rock and Roll Ninja is about four guys who created a bond and a brotherhood in Vietnam as special forces. They were LARPers, and then once they got out of Vietnam, they joined a band.
They were LARPers or LERPers?
LARPers, sorry.
Yeah, LERPers.
Yeah,
Okay.
not fucking LARPer. They didn't wear elf ears and fucking unicorn
Dude,
horns. No, they were LARPers. Yeah.
can you explain to the audience who doesn't know about military history what a LERPer is?
LARPer is a long range recon patrol. It was small
Wow.
groups of dudes who did serious reconning. And when they went out, they would wear the same outfits as the Viet Cong. They would
ERDL
eat the
and
same
AKs.
stuff. Yeah, because I mean, the Viet Cong could like tell if you were eating American food. So these guys started eating.
Matt, do you
Yes,
know
sir.
why they used the AKs? Do you know why they used the AKs?
Because they didn't want to like switch the sound, or because they were taking the
Yeah, it
ammo off
was
the
all about
bodies
sound
and
because
shit. Yeah.
when you hit like a bass or something, they could tell what sound an M16 or M60 would make, or a fall, because of the fall 308, highly underrated in the Vietnam War narratives. But yeah, the Viet Cong could all tell these sounds. So these LERPers, they would use the AKs and also other Soviet bloc armament to sort of hide their identity. And that's I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So then they, I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but they come back to New York and they form a band, and this is like late 70s, early 80s. So I'm thinking this is kind of like Thin Lizzy with some like early Prince.
Yeah.
Maybe some Blockheads. Hit me with your rhythm stick. So there's like some fucking some of that kind of vibe going on, and their
I get the
equipment.
sense. I get the sense that in your past you are sort of connected to the music scene as well, like me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like as a kid, like all the places that I asked him to put into Rock and Roll Ninja, like the Wetlands and
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
Webster Hall, like those are all places that I went to as a kid to
yeah.
go
Cool stuff,
see
bro.
hardcore shows. Like I was a huge like straight edge kid, and I was all
Oh,
into
you were
like
straight edge, yeah.
yeah, 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 man. I was all into like Youth
All
of
right.
Today and Gorilla Biscuits, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so I was like going to these shows and
I thought it was funny that straight edge came out of the sort of the America punk scene,
yeah,
but the first America punk scene, they were all fuck ups, man. They were like really gnarly,
yeah.
beer throwing heroin addicts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was like, growing up, I just had like tons of people around me doing drugs.
Yeah.
And it was almost like that was like my
Hold on.
way of rebelling.
Save that for Ludoslava. What are your thoughts about drugs?
Which ones?
I mean, I'm talking about how I was straight edge while I'm packing my bong. You know what I mean? So,
That's so funny. Oh my god. Ah,
I
yeah.
think that drugs aren't to be thought about; they're to be done. Some of
yeah.
them.
You know, lately, because I have a couple of kids, everybody knows this, and I'm thinking, like, would I want my kids to do the same stuff that I did in my
Mm,
life?
fair
And
enough.
I
Yeah,
kind of don't, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
do I want rules for this or just parental guidance? And I
Parental
opt
guidance.
for parental guidance. If you
Yeah,
have a loving family, then your kids are going to be okay. Doesn't matter what they do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I
Uh,
think.
you need to know what you're talking about when you talk to your kids about drugs.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I think. And that's why I
Otherwise,
say
fake.
don't drink
Like
murky
they
bong
go like,
water.
what
Just
are you
don't
No.
do it.
doing? You've never done them. Like
Bong, ba, bong, bong, bong.
The murky bong water is the worst, you know what I mean? Oh my god.
my
Okay.
motto is anything can be done safely with moderation.
Dude, I
Sorry,
was about
can
to
you
say
guys
that.
still
Yes,
hear me?
ma'am.
Because
Moderation.
like I
Moderation.
said, my
Moderation.
German
Moderation.
Shepherd chewed on my mic wire. Can you guys still hear me or not?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, moderation, I think with everything is how I kind of roll at the moment. But then
Hey,
there's some stuff like I
Matt, I
still
have to
smoke
ask you
weed,
something,
but
man.
I
Because
don't really do anything like crazier than smoking bud.
Matt, can I ask you something, brother?
Sure.
Um, I don't know if I read this wrong or something, but I kind of get the sense that you have an affiliation to the military, or don't you?
I do.
All right. And in what way? Have you
Uh
ever piano wired a motherfucker?
no, I have not. But I would love
You,
to I would
you
love to.
would.
I would. My sense of responsibility and protection kind of ends at my driveway. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really interested in going around the world and fucking shit up. But if you
All
step in
right.
my yard, I'm gonna chop you up.
All right.
Um,
All right. But you might
having
have
said that, yeah,
associates
my I have
within
a
the
I have a
military.
brother. I have a brother who finished up his 22 years.
Oh, yeah.
He was a team guy, and then my daughter is stationed in Norfolk. She's a E5, working like helicopter avionics.
That's
And
awesome,
then
man.
my grandfather was military intelligence, and he ended up in Langley. And then my other grandfather was a submariner, and he ended up in Norfolk. So I grew up in Newport News, Virginia, which is
Dude, I knew it. I
military as
knew the
fuck.
way. I knew the way you handled the topics and kind of what we talked about briefly. I kind of knew it. I knew you had an association. I just sort of sensed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm an Eagle Scout, and everybody, all my fucking adult master, like all my Scout masters, were all like
For the
active.
European followers on the stream, Eagle Scout, it's like yeah, what do you call it? Like a Boy Scout sort of.
Yeah,
How do you say?
It's like a scouting thing. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
Boy
it's kind of
Scouts.
thing. Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like
It's
the top.
juvenile paramilitary.
Yeah, dude, it's like Hitler's fucking youth, but it's fucking.
You want
Oh
to
my
kill your
god.
But
dog.
we had a bunch of like, because of the area I grew up in, like all of the dads were all active member, military and stuff. So when we went camping, it was like
No, but
Viking
dude,
single
Eagle
file
Scouts are
line and
cool.
fucking.
Listen,
Dude,
they
I'm
teach you how
proud to
to
be
make
Eagle Scout.
fires. They teach you how to make fires with Flintstones, and they teach you how to tie knots, and they teach you a whole bunch of stuff.
It's
And
there's leadership stuff, there's
yeah,
teamwork stuff, there's like
listen, and especially
planning.
now with
I
World War
mean,
III coming up, and we haven't even talked about this, you guys. Here
what
we
World
go.
War Three?
Yeah, World War III is coming up, so kids need to know this stuff. They need
They
to
don't know
know.
this shit. Nobody's going to Boy Scouts anymore. Everybody thinks it's fucking gay, and nobody wants to fucking
Everybody's
go.
playing video games.
The scouting movement is quite strong in the UK.
Hey,
Oh,
listen,
good, good.
I think this is an awesome stream, Ludoslava and Mad Six Bar. But
Thank
can I ask you one thing? And this is really, really important. Do you think comics are dying because not enough young people are getting involved? And I kind of sort of answered my own question there. But what are you guys' thoughts about this?
Oh, that's depressing. I don't want to be cynical. I want to say that we're kind of coming into the golden age of independence. Maybe the
Well,
next
we could be because we have all
could
the
be.
the
I want to
media.
be. Yeah,
We have all the media to like what we were talking about this from the beginning. We can actually print our own IPs. We can
yeah,
distribute our own IPs. We can give this to the world. We have a large platform, thankfully, to the internet. Yeah, this
yeah,
could be like a sort of a renaissance era for independent comics. And what I see is a lot of infighting and mainstream dogmas. We could be doing so much better, but that's just I don't want to color you guys' answer. So anyway, sorry, Matt, you were talking.
No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead, Logan.
No, I'm done. I'm done ranting. What do you think, Ludoslava? Sorry.
Yeah, so what I think is that there is a very loud minority and a very silent majority of people who
Yeah.
just carry on with their lives as they have always done. And I think, like, so we are living in a medium-sized city, and the scout movement is very strong here. Um, and a lot of traditional, kind of values are still very strong here. So I think most people, um, they basically vote with their feet and their wallets. So when it
Now,
comes to
people always
politics,
vote with their
the
wallets. That's
public,
true. Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Of
that's the
course.
thing. So they
Yeah.
will buy the independent stuff.
Yeah.
But we need to advertise it more because a lot of people haven't heard of it.
Yeah,
So
that I think that's sort of the thing with mainstream comics is they built the platforms, they had the
mhm,
exposure. Of
yeah,
course, they
that's the
fucked it
thing.
up, but
Yeah,
we have the talent. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We have all the talent and we have all the drive. So, uh, do you think there's a pendulum swift from them to us, or do you think we need to work harder in order
To
to
work
actually
harder
establish something?
on getting things out, basically, to
Yeah,
the mainstream, like to the mainstream, basically, to the average Joe and Jane or whatever you call them in the USA. But yeah, most people still haven't heard of that, but they would definitely appreciate stuff like that. They don't appreciate the woke agenda and propaganda in the mainstream stuff.
They don't appreciate what the woke agenda actually means. You know what I mean?
That too, but a very simple example. So our boys' primary school, for 2 years they had a head teacher who was very woke. Basically, he paid more attention to organizing some sort of queer reading to children kind of events
And I
than.
have to say, I have nothing against gays or
Oh, that's
lesbians
the
or
thing.
trans,
Neither
nothing,
do I.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And we, like, I have gone to events like that outside of the school with my
Just to
boy.
get
Like,
high, you know what I mean?
However,
Yeah,
however,
man. Yeah, I met some
for
gays who had
us,
some killer weed.
for us, it's more important that
Oh, hey, little lady. I gotta bounce. My
math
my my little people just
and
came
all
into my
that.
room.
Oh shit! Hey Matt,
All
thanks
right,
for coming in, brother.
you bet. Holla.
Hey,
Yeah,
that was fun, man.
it's just the two of us now. Okay. Yeah, it's like school is for math and English and all that. Yeah, not for in basically brainwashing. It
Now,
shouldn't be that.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, and I think
Thank
this is
you. Thank
sort of
you.
a very dangerous time that we're living in because I think a large part of the problem is apathy. You know,
Yes.
apathy and disinterest because parents don't really know what's going on. You know, and
Yeah, so
people who
here
work.
I must say to I mean with pleasure I say that here people the parents actually do know what's going on and they were opposing that kind of trend to the extent that the head teacher had to leave and someone else took over who's like who pays attention to what actually the parents want their children to learn, and that person is also like more kind of traditional uh, head teacher. So yeah, we're very happy with that direction. But I think the smaller the community, the easier to sort of get the woke stuff out of education, workplaces, and stuff like that. Whereas in big cities, it's probably more difficult.
Ludoslava, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Can you talk about married boys for about 3 minutes? Because my one of my dogs is actually chewing up a wire, and I really have to stop him. Can you
Oh,
do it like
no problem
two?
at all.
All
Yeah.
right, thanks, thanks, thanks,
Yeah, no
thanks,
problem
thanks.
at all. 3 minutes. Okay, I'll try. I'll try. Mary boys. Ah, 3 minutes. So, that's probably like 10 seconds already of me trying to talk about it. I probably have mentioned already that we already have printed 2 issues and are available immediately if you back the campaign. You just go to the tier called Old Comics Only. The next day in the morning, they'll be shipped out, and you get them within 2 weeks' time if you're in the USA, and sooner if you are in Europe, or within 2 days if you're in the UK. What can I say? Everybody's raving about the comics, so I suppose it's quite good. It's black and white, dark humor, based in the UK. Unspecified time, however, it's the feel is like the hopeless 80s, and it's about 4 boys who happen to be quadruplets, and they were abandoned as premature babies and found by a Catholic priest who is raising them. However, the Catholic priest is not a straightforward kind of character either, because he happened to be Templar Knight in his previous life, and he has flashbacks brought on by a head injury that he sustained when he was trying to prevent mugging. And yeah, so there is this
Okay, I'm back.
okay, thank you.
Uh,
Thank
I'm
you.
really sorry about this. I really
No, no
apologize for this.
worries.
Listen, I was at this stream with the Phantom Menace, this one guy from the Phantom Menace one
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
and he actually went out to eat spaghetti. And I told myself I will never do this, but now I had to swing with the dog going on. And he's a
No
little bit of a
worries. No
bastard.
worries, man.
Can I tell you about my dog? His name is Bandit, and he's sort of he's German Shepherd, but from Greece. And I rescued him when I was doing a job right there.
A proper
And
dog. I like proper dogs, yeah.
and you know he's so skittish for people, and he
Mm.
interacts with my family very well. But he's very sort of maladjusted when it comes to the rest of society. Like me, that's the connection that I have with him.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's a handful. You know what I mean? He's a handful. So anyway, sorry. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry to kind of put you on the spot like this. And
Yeah, no worries.
also,
No worries.
Ludoslava, I have to say, I really appreciate talking to you because, of course, we've sort of interacted via Twitter, and I think it's all very funny. And uh, I really think you're one of the really great people to follow on Twitter, and I'll drop the
Thanks,
link.
man.
I'll
I'm
drop the
trying to be
link in the
amusing.
description of this video after the stream is done. And of course, yeah, like I've mentioned before, Mary Boys, you know, I think it's just a really great comic. I think it's really superb. And I've talked to your husband about this comic, and we have the same sort of references regarding Mary Boys, and I think that's really cool. I kind of got pissed off with him at the beginning because I was in a weird situation where he interacted with War Campaign, and I was sort of in a squabble with War Campaign, and I told him, "Oh, why are you doing this?" Blah blah blah. But now we're all cool. I'm cool with War Campaign, and of course, I've always been a CG, so here I am. And I'm sorry, Ludoslava.
Oh, no worries. No worries. Like, it's all water under the bridge.
That's right.
Long gone. Really.
So, what else do we need to talk about?
What I need to tell you right now is that, like, so I had mentioned before we started streaming that I'm quite intoxicated, and now it's wearing off. I'm actually quite sleepy, so I'm really grateful for the invite. Thank you so much. But I have to go to sleep.
I think I have to go to sleep as well. And once more, I really appreciate you coming on. I hope everybody backs Mary Boys
Thank
twice,
you.
thrice, and four times. And I'll just end the stream. But hang around for a little bit and I'll say goodbye, yeah?
Good night.
Hey, guys, Grahovak, thank you for being in the stream. And everybody else, cheers.